Joining me now is Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who serves on the Budget Committee and, of course, has been demanding those indirect stimulus payments at $1,200. Senator, thank you very much for your patience. We had the Biden event and the announcement of Pete Buttigieg. But first of all, I know the agreement's not finalized. What are you hearing from the negotiations so far? Is it something that you would support as a down payment?
Look, everything that is in that package is vitally needed. The problem is it is a much smaller amount than the country needs in this moment of economic desperation. As you know, a week ago, there was virtually no discussion about direct payment, about providing help to working families and their kids, which, to my mind, should be the major priority, because we're looking at a moment when so many of our families are struggling to feed their kids, worried about getting evicted, have no money to go to a doctor. We got to get money directly to working families. And I'm glad that, as I understand it right now, we're at some $600 per adult, working class adult, and $600 for the kids. So for a family of four, that would be $2,400, which I think will be pretty good news during this rather bleak Christmas period with the pandemic. But we have got to do more. We have got to do more because the working class of this country, frankly, is in worse shape economically than any time since the Great Depression. So this is a step forward, and I certainly look forward to a Biden administration working with us to provide significantly more help to those people who need it.
Of course, it's taken 9 months to get this far. The House passed their act back in May. Mitch McConnell wouldn't put anything on the floor. So how important is it for Americans to see changes in the way the Senate operates?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, there's no question that under Mitch McConnell and the Republican leadership, this has been one of the worst do-nothing Senates in American history. You talk about the health care crisis. There hasn't been any discussion. We talk about the starvation wages that millions of Americans are working. No discussion at all on the Senate floor to raise the minimum wage to a living wage of at least $15 an hour. Climate change, no discussion. Criminal justice, virtually nothing. Immigration reform, virtually nothing. So I hope very much, by the way, that in Georgia, the good people of Georgia elect 2 Democrats so we can have Democratic control over the Senate and start moving an agenda that works for working people and not just the billionaires of this country.
Now, turning to the transition, you just saw Pete Buttigieg being tapped to be Transportation Secretary, and President-elect Biden talking about a cabinet that will more than look like the face of America, that will be the most diverse in history. He's talking about Dennis McDonough, we understand, for Veterans Affairs. You, of course, have been such an important player on that in committee and elsewhere. Do you think that this cabinet is diverse enough? What more would you want to see?
Well, to me, diversity is a very big word, in the sense that you certainly want a cabinet to look like America in terms of representation for African Americans and Latinos and every other group in America. That's, you know, when people turn on TV and they see that cabinet room, they should say, hey, that looks like me. And that's right. But equally important, or more important, is having a cabinet that stands up and fights for working people at a time when wages have been stagnant for 45 years, at a time when 92 million Americans have no health insurance or are underinsured, at a time when working class kids can't afford to go to college and people are working for starvation wages, and we've got to deal with climate change. So I want diversity in the cabinet. I want it to look like America, but I also want it to be a cabinet that has the guts to take on powerful special interests and fight for working families.
What are your top priorities? Is Labor Secretary one? What about Attorney General? Those are 2 unfilled posts so far.
Well, the Biden people will make those decisions. That's not my choice.
Are you pressing for anyone in particular for labor?
No, what we are fighting for right now is a cabinet that is prepared to stand up for working families. There is something wrong in this country when you have a handful of billionaires who own more wealth than the bottom half of America, when the very, very rich are getting phenomenally richer in the middle of a pandemic when so many of our people are hurting. So we need voices in that cabinet who are going to fight for working families. That's my interest.
And one of your colleagues, of course, in the House, Ocasio-Cortez, has talked today. AOC is talking about new leadership in Congress, and it seems to be a shot at Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Do you agree that there needs to be new leadership in Congress?
What I agree is that we need
Democratic leadership.
We need, look, let me just say this, and that is that I am disappointed that when Democrats, as you indicated, I think way back in May and July, came up with legislation that was, I think, $3.4 trillion, which would have included $600 in supplementary unemployment benefits, $1,200 for every adult, in the working class adult, $600 for their kids, doing what had to be done. We started at $3.4 trillion, went down to $2.2 trillion, rejected an offer from Mnuchin at $1.8. And you know what we're looking at in terms of new money in this bill, Andrea? We're looking at about $188 billion because most of the money is unspent money from the CARES Act. So if you're asking me, do I think that this bill was well negotiated? I don't. There should have been a lot more money in it than there currently is. And again, I hope that as soon as President Biden is in office, we're going to roll up our sleeves and start working on an emergency relief bill that addresses the unprecedented crisis that we are facing, get to work on raising that minimum wage, expanding health care, rebuilding our infrastructure, creating the millions of good-paying jobs we desperately need to do.
Senator Bernie Sanders, thanks as always. It's very good to see you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Andrea.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.